Yay. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited about tonight's call. Here we are, Tuesday night, and we have some special things planned for you. We have, well, first of all, this is Brenda Martin's team, Team Fire, as well as my team, Guts and Grace. And we have been combining our team calls for the last couple of months, and I have loved it. I basically have never had that with an upline, and it is so precious to me. And somehow it's just emotionally and mentally strengthening. And I just want to encourage you, if you have sidelines or uplines, always think about reaching out and seeing if you can team up together. I know my dream is to have like truly 7 diamonds where we are all teaming up, bringing our biggest strengths all together. I mean, just because we're always better together, right? So we're going to get going. We have a lot that we want to hear from Miss Angie Ambrosetti. She does not have a ton of time for us tonight. And so we want to make sure that we milk every single minute. She's a brand new diamond in Plexus. And you guys, I met her as an emerald, and I had to think about this, Angie. I'm like, where did I meet Angie? Because you said the other day in Hawaii, and I'm like, I saw her there. But no, I think we actually met after the Bloomingdale's shopping spree, and you were sitting at one of those high top tables, and we all had pink on, and I just walked by, and you and your girlfriends were having so much fun and so smiley and so bright. I was like, can I sit here? And I just plunked my purse down.
You're right.
Right? Do you
Yes.
remember? I feel like we might have
Yes.
maybe
A
we
hundred percent. I remember that now.
it was just like, this is such an easy friendship. And I have followed her, and we've tried to keep in touch here and there through the last couple of years. And it's been so cool to see her all of a sudden be like, boom. I mean, it was like that too. Was that really loud? I hope so. Because this literally how it happened for her and her daughter-in-law, who I had no idea. Brenda had asked her daughter-in-law to share on our call last week when I was out of town. So perfect timing. After Angie, if we have a few minutes, we also get to hear from a senior gold on our team, Christie Mastrolia. You guys, she is just someone who from day one, when she started sharing, she's in my downline somewhere, who cares, whatever. I love her like a level one. She just has the fire, and it's happening all over again for her. She had huge aha moments at convention, and the actions that she's taking, they are working. So we got to hear from her too. Okay, Angie, thanks for being here, friend. Take it away.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for asking me to come on and talk. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. So I'm Angie Ambrosetti. I am a 55-year-old mom of 7. I have 12 grandbabies. Number 13 is on the way. I've been married to my hunky high school sweetheart husband for 36 years. We met on a blind date, and his eyes were opened that night. I always tell people, I'm like, it was a blind date, but his eyes were open that night. And we love serving the Lord in everything that we do. And so I love sharing Plexus. And I always used to think, how is the Lord going to give me a platform? Because I'm not in ministry other than like, I've got a bunch of kids. That's a ministry. And yeah, so I just always felt like, what is the Lord going to give me? And I feel like 100% this is an avenue that he's given me. And I love it. Like, I'm honored to be able to do that. My Plexus journey actually started in 2015. My mom actually offered me a pink drink because she had seen my sweet friend Megan Goff sharing on social media. I was on social media, but not really. Like, I had an account, but I was not on there very often. And I had seen a few things pop up, but I wasn't paying attention. And so my mom was looking for weight loss, but she heard someone say this could help with these crazy headaches that I was having. And so the joke is, like, I met my mom on the side of the road by the railroad tracks, and she exchanged some pink drinks. We had a little drug deal. And I fell in love with the pink drink, like, before I even knew what it was or anything like that, which was super uncommon for me because I was extremely crunchy. Like, we all but milked the cow. That's where our milk came from. I made butter. I grind my own wheat, all those things. And for some reason, I just trusted my mom. I'm like, okay, let me try this pink drink. And so I tried it. I loved it. I went to order immediately as soon as I got in touch with Megan a couple days later. And it asked me for my social security number. And I was like, no, not doing that, because I've done a lot of network marketing in the past. And where I was with one company for 12 years and was pretty successful, I didn't make a lot of money. I got a lot of products, and never took any fun trips. And I'm like, total game changer with Plexus. So my husband was like, do whatever you want, but do not get a 1099. Like, do not get a 1099. I'm like, no worries. I'm not getting a 1099. So reluctantly, I put my social security number in and I started seeing results because I got the triplex. And the first month, I had some really crazy die off because my personality is if one is good, five is better. So I literally started with a bunch, like 4 BioCleanse, 4 probio, all the things. And my sweet daughter-in-law, she had just married my son, the one that was on your call last week. And we were out of town. She had come to visit her husband because they were newlyweds. And I was sick for almost a week in bed because my detox was so, so bad. And I remember her saying, I don't know why you're doing this because, like, I know you love Megan and all, but come on, like these products, they're like, you feel terrible. What is going on? But I stuck with it. And within a month, once I got past the detox, I didn't have any more of those debilitating migraines. I didn't have constipation, restless leg, or vertigo. I mean, it literally, I know it takes people longer sometimes. And of course, like everyone's results are different, but I didn't have any more. And I haven't had a migraine in 9 years. And for that, I'm ever so thankful because I had prayed for so long to get rid of those because they were so bad that my husband would have to take me to the emergency room like over and over again. I was thinking, I'm having an aneurysm, something's like this is not, it's different this time. So you can imagine how happy he was that those things changed. And then the crazy, like he didn't really care about my constipation, right? But he did care about the restless leg because in the night I was like jumping and jerking and rubbing my legs and I couldn't sit still. It was like I was ADD or something, and I'm really not. But a couple months in, I decided that I was going to tell a couple friends about what was happening. And I prefaced it with this. I'm not selling this. So if you want someone to help you and like help you do this business, that's not me. I just think these products might help you. And several of my friends were like, hey, we're not doing it either. But they took the products, they saw results, and before you knew it, I was apologizing to people saying, I'm not a liar. Like I absolutely had no intention of doing this, but like I got my first paycheck and it was $400 and I literally was like, not really sure how this happened, but like I've heard you guys say before, back then it was a check. And I was like, oh my gosh, honey, I'm getting a 1099. I don't know what to do now. And he's like, well, I guess you're going to work it. Because if you made this much and you don't really know what you've done other than share with a few friends, then you better start working the business. So well, I started in 2015 and I worked and did my due diligence and loved on people, and the Lord continued to send people my way. And in April of 2019, I hit Emerald. Of course, you can imagine my ecstatic emotions that I was going through when I did that. Amazingly enough, I joined in April. I hit Emerald in April, and then I hit Diamond in April of 2024. God has a sense of humor. I'm just saying. So you probably heard some of this through Madison's story, but back last year when Plexus offered, if you re-rank to gold, you can go to gold school. It was coming up in Austin. I encouraged her, hey, let's make this happen. That happened for her. And in October, we went to gold school, but she was only ranking at 78 points. She wanted to quit. She was done. She was just like, I can't do this anymore. And she told her husband she was quitting. She didn't really tell me that she was quitting until after gold school. And I was like, listen, babe, something triggered for me back at that gold school. And it was like the fourth one I had been to, but I heard something different. Focus on the business. Focus on the business, lead with the business, post about the business. Everything that you do, you've got to focus on the business. And so I encouraged her to, let's just do this for 2 months and let's see what happens for you. In October, she had 78 points. So she had lost rank. She had re-ranked that 1 month, but she had lost it again. So you can imagine her frustration. And then in November, Plexus graciously came out with the free reset, which was a total game changer. She added 15, I added several, but for me, it really was, I was Emerald. So I was like content where I was, so to speak, you know what I mean? And it was exciting for her. And as like the mom, I was elated. And my heart was just like, these are my kids. Like, this is going to be life changing for them if I can help her get past, if I can get her over the hurdle. And so she added 15 and she re-ranked to gold. And then in December, she got a couple business builders because we literally were posting about the business all the time. We were reaching out about the business, and it made all of the difference. And so by March, she hit emerald, I hit sapphire. And then in April, I didn't decide until about a week in because I was scared. Like, have you guys ever been scared and you're afraid to say it? Because what if you don't hit it? And there were so many ups and downs that whole month. But I literally, every conversation was about the business. Every conversation was about, I just kept leading with the business. I went back and started searching through social media of friends of mine that I had gone to high school with, that I had known, just different contacts that I had that I knew were in network marketing. I started really stalking them to see what they were doing with their social media. And I found a couple of them who I noticed were not posting about their businesses any longer. And so I sent them a voice message and I told them everything that I valued in them, everything that I saw in them, and why I really felt like Plexus would be a really great fit for them, because they had experience with this too, not with Plexus, but with other network marketing companies. And they both ended up joining me, and they both were looking at a different business opportunity when I approached them. They had seen me, they had supported me, they had been my customers, but they, for whatever reason, I guess because I never approached them about the business, but I did in April, and they joined me, and they both went Fast Start Senior Silver in April, which was huge. And then one of the biggest tips that I would share, and Megan has shared this with me over and over again over the years, and I finally listened, or it finally sunk in. When you go to points and rank in your back office, and you know how there's columns are there, it tells you like what your points were last month, where you are this month, blah, blah, blah. That column to the far right side that talks about your personal level ones, basically, that are commission qualified. I had in March 53 level ones commission qualified. And I was thinking, because I kept hearing Megan's voice over and over, that's the one thing that you can sort of control, right? Like, I can't control what other people do on my team, but I can control what I do. So I started reaching out to every single level one that was on my team that wasn't already commission qualified. And I raised that number from 53 to 98 in the month of April. That was the pivotal. If I hadn't have done that, we would not have hit diamond. It just would not have happened. Now, there were a lot of other things I did along the way during the month of April, because I'm telling you, back in October, I don't even think in March I had it. My mind was not, oh, I'm going diamond next month. It just wasn't there. But focusing on those level ones that heavily, literally, when I went back and looked at the numbers, I was like, there's no way we absolutely would not have hit diamond. So I am encouraging everyone. I shared on a call last night, and I did the same. I told them, I'm like, you have got to focus on those, because that's what we can control. And you guys know this, like, the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. And that has pushed my people to do the same thing, to start focusing. There's a couple girls on our team right now that are trying to push for emerald. I'm like, you've got to go back to those level ones and really hone in on that. And I did ask for favors. I was like, hey, I'm going for diamond this month. And there's no shame in that, right? A lot of them ordered. But here's the thing. Several of them had not ordered in a long time, and they're ordering still. So they had fallen off, and they didn't restart. They just, like, honestly, I didn't have a lot of time to get people restarted. I'm like, just go in and order. And they did that as a favor. But then the next month, a lot of them still ordered. And it wasn't always 100 PV, but one of the things Genevieve says a lot is that we miss out on a lot of people because we think if they don't buy the triplex or 100 PV, then we don't want them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I believe I just heard her share. She was in my town this past weekend celebrating with us, and she did an event for me. And I think she said it was Christina Williams who bought ProBio 5 as a retail customer for like a year or something, like a long time. And now look. And so that was another thing that kind of changed for me. I was like, you don't have to have 100 PV. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was trying to get everybody to at least 50 PV, but focusing on those level ones literally was such a game changer. That focusing on the business and just being vulnerable. I was doing a lot of sharing, like lives, a lot of things in my stories, basically live, however you do that in your stories. And all I can say is it was the Lord's perfect timing and it paid off. I mean, it literally did. And these last few months, I've been encouraging my team to just go back and do these same things because that's all I know, right? And I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't know. Like, you guys are all successful too. And so I think sometimes just hearing it from someone different, hearing it in a different way, and at the end of the day, knowing God is totally sovereign. Like, that's how I live. So I just know that it was his perfect timing. It was like the perfect storm of me doing, I believe that God is sovereign and man is responsible. So it was the perfect storm of me doing his will and me doing all the things all at the right time. And and it just paid off. And so I'm not sharing anything life changing here for you guys. I hope this was encouraging. I hope it's uplifting for you. And that's what I got. Like, that's what I'm doing. And I'm continuing to do the same. I'm telling my daughter-in-law. But listen to this. I got to tell you this. So I have 6 sons and 1 daughter. And my daughter suffers with an autoimmune issue. She started taking the products 8 years ago. And she has hated the business aspect of Plexus every step of the way. She said, Mom, I would drink the pink drink and say, I hate Plexus. I hate Plexus. I hate Plexus. Because she felt like it changed me, and it did. But she didn't want the business. But as soon as her sister-in-law hit Emerald, her husband, not my daughter, but her husband said, huh, it's not okay that my sister-in-law is making more money than me. We are doing this Plexus business. We are not going to hold back any longer. And my daughter was like, no, 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 I don't want to. No, we're not doing it. What are people going to say? And he's like, babe, we need the money. We've watched your mom for years. And now it's happened for Madison. We've got to do it. We've got to do it. And in the last 3 months, they have made over $5,000 sharing Plexus. And don't you know that could just make this mama heart just like burst into tears. So when your kids start working it, and I know, Brenda, you have adult kids. I don't know if they work the business or not, but it makes all the difference. It literally is like, it just brings me heart palpitations. So I am so thrilled to know that now my daughter and my daughter-in-law, I have 2 daughter-in-laws, and they're both working the business, and my daughter. And for me, it's been worth it all just to see them come in and be successful, not only with the products. I mean, the products have literally changed my daughter's life. She, has battled with lupus, and the products have been life-changing for her. And now to see her share the business, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, and the fact that it took 8 years and it was one person at a time, like your daughter-in-law had to do this. It was one person, you helping her get back to gold, and the fact if you hadn't have done that,
Yeah.
yeah, so much would be different. It really is one person at a time. I love your focus of your level ones. I know when I was going for Emerald, somebody told me, like, be the heaviest hitter on your team. And so that your team isn't doing all the lifting to get you to Emerald. And so I was like, I'm going to get 40 people back somehow. And somehow I did. Looking back, I remember being in the rain at Target, like on Cape Cod, like typing, like just to get away from the house and like knock out these messages. And I could not believe what I accomplished. I'm like, why didn't I do this 2 years ago? It wasn't time yet. I wasn't ready yet. My brain wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And that's so funny.
Well, and so, the thing about Madison's team, my daughter-in-law, is that my husband said this to me recently. He's like, babe, I was like, why did it take me 5 years? Why did I sit there for 5 years? Because I was working. I've been an extremely high recruiter on Megan's team for years, and the top recruiter for years. But I just could not get over the hump. And he's like, babe, it's because you weren't ready to have this role. And the people who have joined you now, they weren't ready then either. And so that's something to think about too. Like, when people are in the right place and they're ready, like, we've added a lot of people, but they weren't the people who were ready to grab a hold of the business and run with it.
So
And
how do you get ready? And do you feel like really was a decision as you helped your daughter-in-law? Do you feel like a lot blossomed from there?
100%, absolutely. But life happens, and there were things in my personal life and just different things along the way. I did invest in life coaching, and that was pivotal for me, really. And that when I hired a life coach, I was thinking it was going to be all about plexus, but it wasn't. Like we went deep, deep down, and pulled some things out, some things that I battled and things that I struggled with. And then it naturally just came out with plexus things. And so that was definitely a game changer. I mean, I'm not saying that someone has to get life coaching in order to, be successful in this business, because many people have not had the life coaching and they've been super successful. It was just something I needed personally. And a funny story is that back in the beginning, when I started Plexus in 2015, and you guys will probably hear some of this on my Diamond Doc because they just recorded it this past weekend. My kids, at the time, I had 4 adult kids. Now all my kids are pretty much adults. I have one 16-year-old, the rest of them are over 18. They did an intervention with me. They literally all came home before they were married. They came home and they sat down with my husband and I, and they told us all the reasons why I shouldn't be doing Plexus and how I was embarrassing them, and like I didn't know what I was doing and all kinds of things. It's a joke now, but back then it wasn't quite so funny. So when they filmed my Diamond Doc this weekend, they of course, the videographer, we kind of talked about it ahead of time. So he sits them all down together and asks them about it. And it was funny, but they're all extremely successful in their own right. And they were so proud of me. And they shared all of that. So at the time, like I said, it wasn't quite so funny, but now we look back and laugh.
Oh my goodness, that is fabulous. Well, Angie, we do not want to keep you for very much longer. I know you have a local meeting to go attend to. Can I ask you really quick about those, when you started those?
Yep.
I know you shared something at the Diamond meeting at the end of convention.
Yeah.
That was super powerful. And about the fact, I think the first couple of meetings, the first 2 months, like nobody came and you guys had the balloon arch and everything like ready to go.
Yes, yes. So I actually started 4 years ago. I started hosting meetings. I'm fortunate enough, my husband's a general contractor. We have our own office. He has a conference room. And so I started 4 years ago. I started having meetings in there every Tuesday night. We called it Taco Tuesday. I provided tacos. It was fun, blah, blah, blah. And so we did that, we just kept doing it. And I thought, I'm going to change this up a little bit starting this year in January. I rented a Holiday Inn room the first Tuesday of every month, and I committed for 6 months. It wasn't super expensive, but $150. And I had to commit to 6 months. The first 2 months, no one showed up, myself and my assistant. So we did the balloon arch, we had the food, we did all the things. So we took some fun pictures, and we pulled the manager in and got a picture with her. And we still had our food and everything. And I didn't lie on social media, but there were 3 of us, and so that made it fun, put a lot of pictures. Second month, nobody came, and I was feeling like a little bit discouraged. You know what I'm saying? By month 3, ambassadors and a guest came. And month 4, it just continued to grow. And so I decided I was going to reserve it for the last 6 months of the year. And I think we've had as many as 23 there now. So it has grown. And a lot of them that come, they are on my team, but there's so many new people right here in my local area that they come and they need to hear other people's testimonies. And a couple times when there was just a few people there, but there were no guests, I had those ambassadors get up and share their testimony as a good practice. And now people are coming in from the Holiday Inn. They're like, hey, what are you guys doing in here? Like, we put the balloons right outside the door, so it's like everyone can see. And we have a little sign that said, the sip and share this way to sample. And so people are starting to stop in here and there. And then last month, guess who joined me? The Holiday Inn marketing manager, and she's working the business. So I'm like, it was worth the whole thing.
I love it. Not
So
giving
just
up.
keep going. Definitely keep going and doing the things.
The failing forward.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Your story is amazing. Thank you
Oh,
so much for popping on this call, friend. We love you and we can't wait to see what is next for you.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. I have loved following you and Brenda. I'm not sure who else is on the call because I can only see the two of you that I know. But thank you so much. I'm honored that you guys asked me to share a little bit tonight.
Have a great meeting tonight.
All
Get
right,
things
friends. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Angie. It's super
Thank you.
encouraging.
Thank you.
Hi, friend. So good, you guys. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see some of your takeaways. I hope you wrote those down somewhere or put them in the chat so we can read over them. We have time. I'm so glad for Christie Mastrolia. She's just going to share from her heart and some fire. Are you guys ready?
All right. Yep. Share from the heart. I don't have a script. Nothing. Okay. You guys, sometimes reevaluating where we're at and pivoting is so necessary, but it's also so humbling. And sometimes it doesn't feel great, but it is needed. And I feel like that's been the season. Beginning of June, I literally last minute packed up my children and went with my husband to the other side of the state to get away from everything at home because I was about ready to just give up on everything. Like, I'm failing at this, I'm failing at that, I'm suffocating. Like, it was really bad. And then, yeah, that felt great to run away from all my responsibilities for 4 days. Didn't do anything. Came home, packed up for convention, and left a few days later. And it was so impactful. And what's crazy is it's not the speakers, it's not the fun parties. It was the belief that was intentionally poured out that we can do this, that we are capable of doing it. And it is so much more doable than we realize, because what is the truth of what we're doing? It's service and integrity. And it's seeing a need for people and just persevering and sharing through that. And so coming back from convention was like, oh yeah, like I don't want to give this up. Guys, I was about ready to submit applications to Starbucks, and I have a police hubby, and I mean, there's all that political stuff. Like, that's how broken I felt just before convention. And so coming home, it was like, all right, what do I have to do? Number one, I got to sacrifice something. So I am going to sacrifice my stay up late for quiet mommy time. And I'm instead going to go to bed earlier so I can get up earlier and I can spend that time first thing in the morning. By 5:20, I am in my Bible reading. I am having quiet time with the Lord, and then I am working plexus. And I am not saying I'm going to screenshot some stories, but do the actual work. I shared this with my team today, and it sounds a little creepy, but hear the intent behind it. If your upline was to be in your inbox, would they see the work and the messages that you're sending to back up what you're saying with, I want to hit this rank? Or would they be like, oh, she's scared? Because I don't want to be that, right? Nobody's going to log into our inbox and look, but just that kind of mentality of it. So I want to show up like as if Michelle or Bridget or whoever were like, what you doing? I want to have the good work to back up. I'm doing this thing. I'm setting goals and pushing myself towards hitting big goals that, yeah, probably aren't realistic, but you never know. So I'm going to keep pushing to achieve it. We have to put pride aside, and pride doesn't mean you think you're the best at anything. Guys, I've been stuck in pride of maybe I'm not meant to go Ruby and beyond. Like, I'm not cut out for it. So I'm just going to stay back. I'm not going to push myself, whatever. Like that, it's still pride. It doesn't have to be that you think you're the bestest of the best. And so taking that mindset of I'm going to do the hard work, I'm also going to cleave to what my leaders that have gone before me are telling me to do. So since convention, not that I never listened before Bridget, but what Bridget and Brenda say to do, I'm like, yes, ma'am, I'm doing it because they've gone before. Clearly they know what to do. I want to be a 3-star diamond. Like, I want that for my family. So if they're saying this is the stuff you need to do, you need to prioritize team call, you need to be reading the good books, doing the good things, you bet your buns we need to do that. And so looking at where we can shift, putting my phone aside and actually unplugging to refresh and recharge is huge. But guys, the biggest kicker, because I went silver the first week of this month, and I should be closing my 4th tonight, possibly tomorrow, is getting on the phone. Oh my word, we've heard it. Melanie and Nikki and Rachel, like we have heard, get on the phone. Oh yeah, you guys, you try that and it's game changer for you because you can talk real. Okay, so what are your health goals and what are your questions? And you can just bounce back and forth. And there is such beautiful trust built right there. So get on the phone. Don't be afraid to get on the phone. It is completely transformative and schedule an onboarding call. I've actually called it onboarding with my level ones and below, even through our 3 ways, to say, you know what, you've got a bunch of products coming your way. I would love to hop on a Zoom real quick, 20 minutes or so, and let's just talk about the products, when you're going to use them, and also your membership. Let's talk about Pivotal and how to get you signed up, your perks, and your referral link, because you deserve to know about the $450 available. And it is simple. So that's just me verbal dumping all of my stuff on you. I hope you can take something and just enjoy the rest of your July.
Well, Christie, too, you were working on 3 people who potentially want to share and go silver. So you guys, like, we have to have those names before us. Who can we help? There's got to be someone in there, right? That kind of digging in our back office is so precious, I think, too, with our level ones. I love that Angie brought that up. And I feel like I'm seeing you do that, Christie. Like, you're starting over. You're like, okay, bring in as many as I can. And I'm going to find somebody. Like, we're digging for those sleeping giants in our back office and in our network. That is so beautiful. I love how you've been leading with the business too, and doing our calls, our Monday through Thursday calls. You guys, we're opening them up to Team Fire. We should have, no matter what, at the beginning. It just didn't cross my mind. I don't know why. I feel so bad. Monday through Thursdays, we have what we call Y plexus calls. They are 20 minutes max. We actually aim for 15 so that we can make it 20 or under. We share about the products at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and they are stories based. We're sharing about the big sale with the free reset at the end. And we're also sharing some about the business and the referral link. Fridays for the rest of July too. I don't think we have too many left. We're probably going to move this into August. We're sharing about the business opportunity at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday. So bring your customers, ask them, will you come get ears and eyes on this? Can you just come to this call with me? I want to build your belief, not only in our products, but in potentially you grabbing $450 this month with me. You guys, there's still time for people to earn this big money. Like Keith Callahan said, what was he saying? Silver is a decision. Do you believe you have people in your network, in your back office that potentially could go silver in a day? Like, let's not make this rocket science. Let's not make it rocket science. It's possible for all of us. It starts with one, right? Just one. Brenda, do you have anything to say?
Did you share those Monday through Thursday evening calls in Team Fire yet? Oh, okay. I was scrolling and looking because I thought you had said you were going to and I couldn't find it. So okay. Eventually get that done. It'd be a great way to end out the month. You're doing it through the end of the month, I understand. Is that right? Yes. Okay, cool. And I just love what you shared, Christie, because like in a nutshell, what I heard from you is you have made a decision. You're putting discipline into action. You are taking some steps that maybe you hadn't taken before that aren't so comfortable, getting on the phone, and you are seeing results, and you have goals, like actual number goals you're trying to reach. Those are just powerful. Boom, right there. This girl's going to be diamond. Love it so much.
She just said it. And she doesn't just say it.
Oh, I've known that since the time I met her. But seeing this new fire in action is like, you're doing the right things, girl. Like, keep that up. Do not let, you're going to hit hard times. You're going to hit discouragement. You're going to hit people quitting. You're going to hit the slow, like, when is this ever going to happen? But like Angie talked about tonight, the timing will happen. So stay faithful. Love you, girl.
Oh my goodness. That was beautiful. Okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great night. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye. I hope to see you on our calls. I'll go post that in Team Fire right now.
Awesome.
Bye.